You notice that we take the position no matter what. We don't modify position. We just add something on one axis to it. So what I'm going to say is you just take a filter vec3, and this is going to be the delta. That's not the right word. This is going to be, well, it's a vector we're going to add to it. Add vec, how's that? Let's zero it right away. There's a, this should be an inline function, it's probably not yet. So we zero it. And then we fill out, we use this little switch statement to pick which axis we should add half of the size to. Oh, okay. So not only do we need the position of the original guy, we also need the... No, what am I saying? Take that back. We don't need the position of the original guy. It's the position of the effect entity, which is us. So addVec is going to be, in this case, the Y component is going to be hit. And let's see. I believe I converted the coordinates so that it is 0 on the bottom left and positive Y up. OpenGL defaults to having 0, 0 in the middle, and then negative to the left and positive to the right, which makes sense once you start zooming out. But I'm more used to working in this 2D context, especially when I'm doing a 2D game. If we're doing a 3D first-person shooter or something, it'd be a different story. But right now I'm mapping to pixels, so I prefer to do it this way. So in this case, and if it's wrong, we'll flip it. We're doing a top case, so that's when this is a little tricky. I believe that's when something hits our top. I could be wrong. So we want to come out on the bottom, which means we have to subtract from the Y vector. So that's going to be size.y divided by 2. Negative size.y. Yes, so that's fine. And likewise, all the others are just going to be a small modification of this. So for example, this will just be positive. And when you're on the left side, you want to come on the right. So that's going to be a positive, because going to the right means addition. And when you go to the left, it's almost the same, except you need to subtract, like such. Okay. So we can just reuse addVec here. We have a function that adds two vectors together, and they can filter vec add, right? And it's not going to blow anything away if you have the same input and output, the vectors being the same for input and output. So that's going to be an addVec and pos and addVec. I notice I don't comment nearly as much when I'm chatting it up. size of an axis gives you the edge of the cube. Yep. So that's good. So this is the position we're going to spawn at. Now we could add a little bit extra if we're worried about colliding with the wall, and I think that's probably a good idea. We're going to need a size probably. Select entity. Yeah, it also takes a start size, as you can see. So why don't we go ahead and compute that. I'm not sure what's a good size to use. Yeah, that's kind of a problem if we don't specify any of that. But for now I'm just going to hard code it. No, that's just new size. So it's not going to be very hard. New size dot x equals new size dot y equals new size dot z. And we'll just call it 0.2. I think that's a reasonable size. Okay. So now the picture has expanded a little bit. We also have this size that we need to add. And in this case here, if we have to pop it on the left side, we have to subtract the size. So we can just modify that into our add vector, and it will look like this. New size dot y plus, and I'm going to say I'm going to add a little bit of leeway. How about like that much? Just so we don't collide. Right. So this is going to be also 0.05f plus new size dot x plus, yeah. Okay. So now we have the position and the size. Don't forget we need the pointer to pass the structure by reference. Okay. So this will do what we want essentially, to spit the output entity around there. Right. It's not quite done. We need to... We probably want to move once it goes there. So I recommend we take a look at the shooter class, because that already does that. If you remember, on the lower left side of the screen there's a shooter object. And whenever you tap it with your finger, it'll spit out a sine tone entity. So I'm sure it does it with the init with pos, like this. And it looks like we just set the velocity x and y directly like this, using the angle of the barrel. In this case we don't have that, so what we can do is just looks like this is just a pointer, which we could just if that's a pointer, yeah, we can get away with just setting it to new size. If we need to, we can scale this to some speed. But the size vector is... No, the size vector is different. I'm sorry. Okay. I take it back. We do need the add vector. The add vector can double as our speed. So we need a position new pos. So now the output is going to be into new pos. And we can do this. This will just copy over the structure. Yeah, and I think this is pretty much what we want. I'm trying to think from a design point of view. It might be cooler just to leave the angle and have it reflect whatever the input angle was. But we can play around with that later. I was just spacing out for a second there.